All right, so welcoming. I was saying this is a beginning of a new moon phase. So the new moon is about planting seeds in farming and in life. And we can take that idea of what seed are we planting? How are we preparing the earth, the soil, our own bodies being our earth where we plant and create things? How are we preparing ourselves so that we can set our intentions in a way that feel like they are being nurtured rather than creating dissonance, right? Early, before we started just now, we were talking a little bit about anxiety and stress, and they feel like they're newer words, right? I didn't grow up talking about stress, definitely not. And so what does that mean? What is that, right? And so if we get curious about what that, it's basically a signal, right? It's like a warning bell going off internally asking you for something. So if we can get curious around those feelings and then pause and think, well, how can I be more nurturing to my earth? Does my body need more water, more nutrients, more rest, more sunlight? Do I need to weed, right? Do I need to remove things that I'm carrying, patterns that I'm holding that aren't feeling expansive so that a seed can sprout and grow and give fruits? So with that in mind, we'll come on to our back if we're not there already. And let's just have a moment to close our eyes, separate our legs a comfortable distance away from each other. Separate the arms out to the sides and give yourself a moment to feel comfortable and settled, and also to take up space. And if you need to yawn as soon as you drop in, feel free to stretch and yawn and do whatever you need, so that we can close our eyes and become still for a few moments. Taking in a slower and fuller breath. And as you exhale, you're welcome to release an ah sound. Ah. Inhaling slowly and sensing where you expand. And as you exhale, softening your eyebrows and your forehead and your jaw. And releasing any need of valuing or judging good or bad or better or worse. Just start to observe. How does your head rest on the mat? How do your ears line up over your shoulders? Noticing how the back of your shoulders rest on the mat. Do they feel even or not? And it's okay when they're not even. There really is no symmetry. Everything is a little different and it's constantly moving. And as you inhale, slowly sensing how your back either moves or doesn't move into the mat. And as you release, softening your abdomen, feeling the weight of your pelvis. And then observing around your waist and your lower back. And any differences you might sense between right and left sides. And feeling the weight of the pelvis and how the legs relate to the mat. Sensing how the back of your thighs touch or don't touch, or it's just not clear. Feeling your calves, your ankles, and your feet. Just observing the differences that you might feel between right and left sides. Just taking a few moments to feel what it's like to just accept how it is, releasing any need for it to change. Noticing yourself letting go into that gentle observation. When you feel that you're ready, on one of your following inhales, you'll sweep your arms up and over your head. And we'll take a long and yawning stretch, reaching through your fingers and your toes. And as you feel it's time, sweeping the arms back down at your sides, walking the feet in towards the pelvis, just kind of saying hello to the toes, the balls of the feet, and the heels. Feel the width of your feet, feel where your feet are placed and how they relate to your trunk. How do they relate up to your body? Do they feel balanced and centered? And if they don't, do what you need to do so that you feel a clear sense of your head, your nose and chin aligned with one another, your chin in line with your heart center and your breastbone in line with your pubic bone or your sacral center on the back of your pelvis, and your feet an even distance away from that center. And as you inhale, you'll sweep your arms back up and over your head. Exhaling, reaching the fingertips towards the sky and beginning to draw big arm circles. Sweeping the arms out to the sides, hovering or touching the earth as they come over your head, and then reaching the fingertips up towards the sky as they arc over your trunk and come down at your sides. Feel free to close your eyes and tune in to the timing of the right and left sides of your body. Are the arms meeting the mat at the same time? Are they arriving at the same points in the same way and at the same time? And how do they align and synchronize with the movement of your breath? Just observing if you're taking more than one breath. Where are you inhaling? Where does the exhale occur? And at some moment in the breath, allowing the movement to change in the opposite direction. Circling back where you came from, and then continuing in that direction. And with every breath and movement, setting the intention of it becoming smoother, more balanced, balancing the right and left sides of the body. Feeling how the mind drops clearly into the center in order for us to relate to what feels balanced. And the next time that your arms are open at the T, at the height of your shoulders, more or less, leave them there. And if it feels like you need your arms to go lower than your shoulders, go for it. And we'll begin to walk our feet wide apart, as wide as it feels comfortable and smooth for your hips. So noticing that your knees can wave in and out, your thighs can move in towards each other and away from each other easily without sensation at your hip socket. And if you do find sensations at your hip socket, then bring your feet closer together. Inhaling slowly and fully. And as you feel the exhale leaving your body, allow both legs to roll over to the right side, gently pressing the left inner edge of the foot into the mat, taking a pause to yawn and reach and stretch in that shape. However that feels good, let the sensation guide you. And then as you're ready, your right thigh, the outer thigh on the mat, starts to roll into center first, coming through center and guiding your legs over to the other side. And again, take your moment if it feels like one is coming on. Whenever you feel a yawn, a pause, follow your sensation. If it feels more inviting to just flow from side to side, again, follow that sensation. We're just going to play with this movement for a few moments. Feel free to make it your own, to have little intervals of yawn and moaning and sighing, whatever needs to happen. Feel the massage across the back of your pelvis as you come through your center. The massage across that space in between your shoulder blades. Relaxing the jaw. Relaxing the eye sockets. And the next time that both legs drop over to the left side, pause there for a moment, both legs rolling to the left side. Notice where your right arm is as your legs are dropped over to the left side, and begin to reach out of the right arm along the floor, circling it back up and over your head, keeping it close to the mat if it feels good, rolling onto your left shoulder and your forehead. You can even stretch the eyes to look over the left shoulder on the mat and take a deep breath while you're there. Keep your legs where they are as your right arm begins to circle back up and over your head, bringing itself back where you were. First, your heart opens, and then your left thigh rolls in and guides you over to your right side. The inner edge of your left foot now gently presses into the mat. Stretch out of the left arm, circling along the mat over your head until your face rolls into the mat and you breathe. Drop the top leg, drop the body into the mat. Reach the left arm back where it came from as you keep your legs heavy. Wait for your head, neck, and shoulders to open, and then your right thigh comes up to guide your pelvis over to the other side. And we keep going. And we breathe. And we follow our pace. And the suggestion is to notice the sequence. So when you're on your side and on your face, it's your top arm that initiates the circle back. It spirals you through your spine. Your heart opens and then your legs follow. And then your legs continue and they guide you over. And your legs will then cue your waist, which tells your shoulder, hey, let's circle around. And every time we breathe, we drop in. And just as always, let the sensation guide you. So if there's a moment where you want to stretch and there's a yawn and something needs to happen, let that happen. Allow it to feel really authentic, really yours. Yeah, I love the etymology of the word authentic, authenticity. It's the same as author. So it is to be the deliberate creator, to be the writer of your story, is to be authentic. Has nothing to do with honesty, which is really interesting as a concept. Be true to yourself. Does it feel right for you? When you feel ready and you come back onto your mat, you'll stretch your legs all the way out, wide apart, stretch your arms out, stretch yourself out like a star. Reaching the head, the fingers and the toes all away from each other. And as we exhale, we're going to gently bend our knees, sliding our heels in. And if it catches at the hip, that means your legs were too far. Let the legs roll over to the right side. Same thing we were just doing, rolling onto the side. And as we do, we're going to straighten our legs out as the top arm reaches in a diagonal. And they may not go all the way to straight, and it might feel really interesting around your hips and waist. Breathing there, and then bending the knees. It's like they slide back in to roll us back onto our mat. Both knees come to standing, or both feet come to standing. Both knees roll over to the other side. Press into the inner edge of your foot. Start rolling your body onto your side over your bottom shoulder. And then once you get there, again, stretching out through both legs and reaching through, especially the top arm. Notice the diagonal between the top arm and the top leg and how they reach apart. And then we start bending the knees, and as the knees bend, we roll back onto our mat. Both knees drop over to the other side. We keep rolling. As we come to the side, we reach through the legs. Wherever it feels right, we explore. And then we bend the knees and we bring it back in. And we're just going to play with it. It's okay. It's great to have that feeling of like, wait, what am I doing? That's a really awesome space to be in. That is what it feels like to develop more neural plasticity. Big word that means that you're doing something that hasn't been done often before or at all. So your brain needs to make new relationships, new connections to just get in there. It doesn't matter if it makes sense at all. We don't need to understand it. Just allow yourself to explore and get into it. And when you feel like you're ready, in your own unique and creative way, you're going to roll onto your stomach and just flop right over, lengthening your legs all the way out, stacking your head on your hands, and just pause for a moment to lie flat on your stomach and notice how that feels after that rolling bit. Inhale slowly and fully. And as you exhale, really let your chest just melt into the mat. On your following inhale, gently lift your elbows off of the mat, keeping your head and the rest of yourself heavy. Exhale and bring your elbows back down, and then again, let yourself melt. Let your chest release. Inhaling, the elbows slowly come up. Exhaling, the elbows come back down, and the heart and the pelvis melts and releases. Play with that a couple more times. And the next time that the elbows come down and you release, pause there for a moment. Let everything go. On the following inhale, glide the shoulder blades up towards your ears. You shrug your shoulders. Then you'll pick up the elbows off the mat, glide the shoulder blades down, and bring the elbows back down to the mat and release. Circling the shoulder blades up to the ears, then picking the elbows off the mat, gliding the shoulder blades down, and then dropping the elbows back into the mat to release the chest. Have a moment to pause, and then keep it going. Shoulders come up to the ears, then the elbows lift away from the mat. Shoulder blades glide down, then the elbows release back into the mat. If you feel any discomfort or pressure anywhere, make the movement smaller and use less effort. When you're ready, reverse the direction. So the shoulder blades might glide up, and then they're going to glide down. We're going to lift the elbows up, pull the shoulder blades up to the ears, and then bring them down. We'll just play with this a couple more times. The head and the face are staying heavy and relaxed. And then as we're ready, we're releasing and dropping down and just gently beginning to roll the head from side to side. Smoothing out the forehead, relaxing the face, releasing the shoulders. The next time that you find your center, go ahead and pause there. Again, take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, allow your chest to release through your arms. On the following inhale, slowly lift your head, open your eyes and look up, squeezing into the back of your neck with love and care. Exhaling, releasing your chest, bringing your head back down and letting everything melt. Keep your chest heavy on the mat as your head and your eyes curl up. And then exhale, bringing your head back down, releasing once you're on the mat. We'll do this one more time. And the next time that your head is back down, go back to rolling your head out from side to side. Bend your knees, bringing your heels towards your glutes, and then let your feet rock from side to side as well. Let the feet explore what it's like to go as far over to the side as they can. And notice what that does to the front of your thighs, pelvis, abdomen, rib cage, shoulders, chest, arms. Observe your contact with the earth as you're moving on it. And then when you're ready, you'll find your center. Lengthen your legs back out. And as you inhale, begin to lift your head and chest off of the mat, bringing your elbows underneath your chest and just finding that comfortable Sphinx-like shape. Comfortable enough where you feel like you could read a magazine, a book, you could stay here and talk to someone. Let your gaze be down towards the mat so that the neck feels easy and there's no strain around your third eye or your forehead. Slide down into your shoulders if you haven't already, that like turtle, like where the turtle that's sliding back into its shell. You can even pull your shoulders back up towards your ears and round your upper back so it looks like the turtle shell. As you're ready, gently send your abdomen into the earth, shoulder blades roll back, push down into your elbows, and start to come up, stretching your head and neck out of your shell. Listen to what the lower back is saying. If it feels pinchy or sharp, move your elbows a little further away and maybe just don't come up so high. And again, we're going to slide back down. Energetically, you move back into your shell and you close your eyes. You can really close your eyes and even scrunch up your face. And then roll the shoulders back, push down through your elbows, look forward, open your eyes, and stick out your tongue. Ah. Inhale or exhale, slide back in and down. Glide in and out of this at your own pace. When you stick out your tongue, stretch open your mouth and your eyes. Really wake up your face. Ah, make sound. When you go back into your turtle shell, tighten up. You've got to contract to pull yourself in there. And then it's from going in there that you can roll back out. Open the eyes, stretch the tongue in the mouth. We'll do that one more time. Ah. And then releasing back downward, stacking the hands back under the head one last time. And again, gently massaging the forehead out from side to side. Now this time we're going to keep our head turned to look at our favorite elbow. Whatever side is the most comfortable will be the favorite. So keep your head turned to look at that elbow. That elbow that you can see stays exactly as it is. The other arm extends out to half of a letter T or even a bit lower. So the other arm is going to stretch out. You're looking at your elbow, right? So the leg on that same side is going to lift up, stretch across the back of the long leg, reaching back towards the floor behind you. Only go as far as it feels safe for the shoulder that's open on the mat, the long arm that's behind you. You're welcome to bend the top knee or keep the legs straight, whatever feels best for you. And if you're not sure, you get curious and you explore. Some days it's really clear, the message from the body. Some days it's not, and it's okay. And what that means is that we've got more space. Yeah, a broader range to move in. And we breathe, relaxing the head. And as you exhale, energetically let your heart melt towards the floor in front of you, towards the mat you can see, while the top leg is energetically reaching back there. We'll do that for 1 or 2 more breaths, breathing into the areas that feel like they need more light. The breath is hydrating. The breath is plasma. It's full of nutrients. Whenever you feel you're done, you'll slide your top foot down towards your bottom foot that's on the mat. Let that guide you back onto your stomach, bringing both hands back under your head. And just pause for a moment or two, lying flat on your tummy. And now again, observe what might be different between left and right sides. And if your mind jumps into good or bad or better or worse, just notice it. That is the nature of the mind. We're grateful for it. And then release it and explore what it's like to just discern, to develop the ability to just say, yeah, this is different than the other thing. I can let go of my preference and I can just appreciate what it is. And then when I'm ready, I'll turn my head to look at my left elbow or my right elbow. Now you know which was my favorite. So look at your other elbow. Reach the other arm out in half of a letter T. Get comfortable there. Check in with your neck and shoulder. And then as you're ready, the elbow that you're looking at, that same side leg lifts up. Guide it over the long leg that's on the mat so that it peels the front side of your body off. And you roll on to the other shoulder. Again, you're welcome to bend the knee. Sometimes the hand and the foot find each other. It's not necessary. We want to release and feel the chest opening. We're opening our collarbones with this shape, refreshing our upper ribs and the top part of our lungs, creating space for our heart to do its beautiful dance all day long. Relax your abdomen. Allow yourself to observe and absorb. We'll take 1 more breath while we're there. And as we feel ready, we'll begin to guide our top foot down towards the bottom foot. Again, that guides you effortlessly to flop back on your stomach. Bring both hands under your forehead. Pause for a moment and notice. And as you feel ready, begin to press the front of your pelvis into the mat. Lengthen your legs out and lift your head and shoulders. Slide your hands next to your rib cage on the mat, rolling up into cobra, pressing the pelvis forward, shoulders roll back as long as it feels good, and then bending the elbows and sliding down back onto your mat. Forehead to the mat, shoulder blades glide up to the ears. Then you glide your shoulder blades down, and that naturally presses the palms into the mat. Push your pelvis into the mat and begin to heel yourself up as high as it feels comfortable. If it feels good to come up onto the top of the feet, more in an up dog, go for it. And then bend your elbows slowly, melting long, melting down to get longer. When you're on the mat, inhale, glide your shoulder blades up. One more time, glide the shoulder blades down, press into the palms, press your pelvis forward, rolling back up, and this time into child's pose. Folding back into your child's pose, you can use your hands on the mat to push your pelvis back onto your feet. And if that doesn't feel good for you, you use your forearms. Your pelvis might be in the air, but you still can create a rounded sensation for your low back. And we breathe. If your head is dangling, please stack your hands or grab a block or fold up your mat. Support your head. We want the head to be grounded, to meet something. Inhaling, gently lift only your head and shoulders. Walk your hands over to the side, whichever side you prefer, still in child's pose shape. Both hands walk over to the side, and then pull your abdomen over your thigh, like we want to get our breast and our innards and everything over that thigh. And then we'll come back down and breathe there. And here we might need more support for the head. And we breathe. When you feel ready, just slowly lift your head, start straightening your arms, come back into center. For a moment, stay in the center. Wiggle your tail a little bit, just getting settled back in the center. Everything's balanced again. And then we walk our hands over to the other side. And again, before you go down, move your skin, move your soft tissue, your breast, move your stuff over that thigh. And then drape yourself down and breathe. Take one more breath in that shape. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders, walk your hands back through to the center. Again, just kind of wiggle your tail a little bit, find your center, and float up onto your hands and knees now, coming into a quadruped shape, and just rock a little bit from side to side on all fours, feeling that you're balanced, you're comfortable, it's smooth. Find center, tuck the toes. We're going to give our toes a good stretch and then come off of them. Tuck the toes a bit more, get into that big toe, all the toes, give them the stretch, and then come off of them. Do that a couple more times. Give it a few goes there to really get into the toes. Your quality of life and your longevity is very, very, very related to the mobility, the dexterity, the strength, the control that you have in your toes and your feet. Because it's completely related with your hips and your pelvis and your organs and your spine. So very important. to keep our feet flexible. Now, the next time that we do this, we're gonna pause and turn it into a downward dog, lifting the tailbone up, letting the head drape down, bend one knee at a time, stretch the opposite leg out, rock a little bit from side to side. Play with your chest, your shoulders stay wide, release your face and your head. And then we'll start walking our feet towards our hands. Bend the knees as you need to. Let your head and shoulders release there. And then slowly bend your knees to lower yourself all the way down onto the mat and come into a comfortable seated position. Comfortable seated position means that you can sit tall pretty effortlessly. So if you need a cushion, a pad, a pillow, whatever, or you need your legs out, knees this bent doesn't work, do what you need to do to get as long in your spine and as comfortable there. Breathe. Notice what it feels like to bring the head up. Do we have an awareness around our halo, our invisible halo? We actually rolled all around our head. Now we're going to take our dominant hand and bring it up. So take your dominant hand and bring it up. We're going to place our dominant hand under the opposite elbow across the chest. Thumb is out. So just slide it into your armpit and then take your non-dominant hand to hold your dominant shoulder. And you're going to close your eyes and breathe. Allow your lower back and your abdomen to release. And you're going to tell your dominant side, you're doing great. You're doing a great job. Thank your dominant side for leading the way. And let your dominant side just have a rest and feel what it's like to be held. And as you feel ready, you'll gently let your arms just slide down for a moment. And when you're ready, place your hands on your lower abdomen, literally the seed center. The seed bank in the body is the second chakra, where our reproductive organs lie. And whether or not we have our reproductive organs intact, it doesn't matter. The energy center, the vibration of creation, resides in this part of the body, both physiologically, endocrinologically. Our glands of creation reside in this body. And we'll just take a few moments to reflect on what seeds are we planting? What creative energy is dormant within me that would like to start seeing its way out into the world? And I invite you over the next 3 days to write down what is the quality of the seeds that you're planting. Which one of your gifts do you feel is ready to come forth? Don't worry about how it will happen. Just start to drop in and get clear on what that feels like, what that looks like, what it might smell and taste like, what colors would best describe it, what music would be its playlist. And allow yourself to dance and play in that creative vibration, letting go of any concern of how, when, why, and where. Just getting clear on what. What is it? And on one of your following inhales, allow your breath to guide your arms up and over your head, feeling you're spreading that creative light out and over you. Bring your palms together overhead, rooting them down through your center. And then again, from that creative center, we press down and out and we move forth. And we spread our light out, up and around, all around us, all over us. Coming down to root through the clear center from which we find balance and from where we can express outward into the world. One more time. And then bringing the palms to rest in your heart center, bowing into yourself, feeling grateful. Gratitude for your beautiful body. I thank my body. I thank the wisdom that keeps me together, that knows how to heal. I trust my body. I trust my feelings. And I also thank myself for showing up today. And I thank all of you for being here still and again. Mwah. Happy new moon rising, and we will meet soon again.